me name's Ryan, 31, work a normal office job in some boring industry nobody dreams about, nothing glamorous. But the paycheck clears and the rent gets paid. Married to my wife, Emily, been together about 5 years. Married for 4. Life honestly felt pretty solid. Or at least that's what I believed. At the time, we were happy. Not dramatic movie, happy. Just that calm, comfortable kind. The type of relationship you see in cheesy insurance commercials. Weekend grocery runs together. Laughing about dumb stuff in the car. If we went out to dinner, I'd usually grab the bill. Not because she couldn't, just liked spoiling my wife. A little, felt like the normal thing to do. Something around the house breaks, I handle it. Dripping sink, crooked cabinet hinge, dishwasher making demon noises. I'm no contractor or anything, just a regular dude with YouTube tutorials and a toolbox. Emily used to think it was cute. She'd lean on the doorway and call me her personal repair guy. Sometimes bring me a cold beer while I worked. Felt good, felt like we were functioning the way a marriage should. She handled stuff. I was terrible at planning, paperwork, social stuff. I handled the messy mechanical things she hated dealing with. Balance system too, people covering each other's weak spots felt like teamwork. Then things slowly started shifting. At first it was small. Emily got really into some online communities, blogs, podcasts, social media groups, stuff she'd scroll through constantly. Didn't think much of it. People pick up hobbies online all the time, but suddenly new words started showing up in conversations. Patriarchy, emotional labor, systemic, power, dynamics, toxic masculinity. At first, I just nodded and moved on. Internet buzzwords, whatever. Then somehow those words started getting aimed directly at me. One night, we're watching a movie on the couch. She says she's cold. I get up, grab the blanket off the chair, drape it over her shoulders instead of thanks. She gives me this weird look, tells me I'm acting like she's incapable of grabbing her own blanket, says it's a subtle form of control. Apparently me standing up implied she was helpless. Sat there confused as hell. I was literally just trying to be nice. Week later, she asked me to open a stubborn pickle jar. I twist the lid and it pops open. She suddenly grabs it back, mid-motion, tries again, herself. Struggles for almost a full minute. Finally gets it loose, then gives me this proud grin, says she doesn't need a man opening jars for her. Okay. I just shrugged and went back to making my sandwich. Stuff like that kept happening every week. A little worse one night, I offered to walk her to her car after dinner. It was late and the parking lot was half empty. Apparently that meant I believed the world was dangerous and she needed a male protector. Another time I planned a surprise weekend trip for us. Thought she'd love it. Nice cabin, hiking trails, whole thing somehow. That turned into me performing emotional labor that reinforced traditional expectations and pressured her to be grateful. Every small thing I did suddenly had a negative interpretation. Gestures I'd been doing for years, without a problem. Now they were toxic behaviors, under a microscope living with. That was exhausting, felt like walking through a minefield in my own house. One wrong step, and suddenly I'm a villain. Emily also had this friend, the kind who pours gasoline on every argument every time they met for coffee. Things got worse when Emily came home, like the rhetoric slider got pushed to maximum. This friend supposedly had a perfectly equal relationship, fully non-patriarchal, according to her. The way they described it honestly sounded less like a marriage and more like two co-workers running a startup together. Emily started pointing at that relationship, like it was the gold standard. Arguments started happening constantly. I tried explaining my side, told her none of this was about control. I was just trying to care for my wife in a marriage. People help each other. You carry the heavy groceries, you fix broken stuff, you grab a blanket when someone's cold. That's teamwork, not oppression. She'd just shake her head. Tell me I couldn't understand, because I was a man benefiting from the system. My intentions didn't matter, only how she interpreted my actions. Mattered conversation over. Eventually everything boiled over. One random afternoon, I come home from work, long day. Brain fried, walk into the kitchen and hear drip, drip. Drip, look under the sink pipes leaking, and there's a small puddle forming on the floor. Emily's sitting at the table with her laptop and headphones on. There's a pot under the pipe catching most of the water. She notices me and pulls the headphones off. Says the leak started earlier that afternoon. She's been researching how to repair it herself. I glance at the puddle, then at the mess of pipes under the sink. Tell her it might be tricky, probably needs a replacement fitting. Say I can just knock it out real quick since I've fixed one. Before wrong answer. Apparently she launches into a full rant. Says I always undermine her. Says I assume she's incompetent. Says my instinct to jump in and fix things is classic toxic masculinity. That I need to play the hero and solve problems to feel important. I'm just standing there after a 10-hour workday staring at water, creeping across our hardwood floor. I literally just wanted the leak to stop. So I let her talk, stood there quietly and let the storm pass. When she finally finished, I just nodded, said, "All right, it's your project. Tell me if you need help." Then I walked into the living room and turned the TV on. About an hour later, I hear a loud metal clang, then a curse, then the unmistakable sound of water blasting everywhere. I run into the kitchen she'd slipped, while tightening a fitting with the wrong wrench cracked a PVC pipe clean in half. What was a drip earlier, now a full pressure fountain under the sink water, shooting out, hitting the cabinet, spraying across the entire kitchen. Emily's standing there, completely soaked and panicking. I don't say anything, just step past her, reach under the cabinet, find the main shutoff valve, and crank it closed. Immediately, water pressure dies down to a pathetic drip kitchen, suddenly dead quiet. Emily just standing there soaked, staring at me, waiting for the inevitable, "I told you so," doesn't come. I grab a pile of towels from the closet and start soaking up the mess, kneeling on the floor, wiping water off the hardwood. She starts crying behind me. That night she asks if we can talk serious tone, the kind that makes your stomach drop immediately. We sit down at the kitchen table. She says our marriage can't keep going the way it is. Says it's fundamentally unbalanced. Says it was built on outdated patriarchal expectations. Then says she wants a full reset. Pulls out a printed document from a folder, slides it across the table, calls it our relationship framework. My stomach sinks instantly. 3 pages long, actual typed rules for how our marriage will operate. Rule 1, total financial independence. We close our shared checking account. Each of us opens our own personal account. My salary goes to mine. Her salary goes to hers. Then we create a third shared account, strictly for household costs. Every month, we each deposit exactly half the rent, half the utilities, half the internet, half the grocery budget, no more. No less, everything else becomes individual spending, dinners out, clothes, car repairs, birthday gifts. Everything comes from personal funds. If we go to dinner together, the bill gets split. Rule 2, chore equality. She already made a spreadsheet, color-coded and everything, lists every single household task, cooking, cleaning, laundry, trash, shopping, bathroom, scrubbing, all divided perfectly. 50-50 my nights to cook. Her nights to cook my week for bathroom duty. Her week after that schedule locked in, no switching, unless both people agree at least 24 hours beforehand. Rule 3, full personal autonomy. This one hits the hardest. Each partner responsible for their own problems. No traditional husband or wife roles anymore. We are simply equal adults. Sharing space means no fixing her car, no killing spiders for her. No late night, "can you walk me to the car" situations. Her problems are hers to solve, mine are mine. Even emotional support has to be reciprocal and intentional, not automatic. I read the entire document slowly. 3 full pages of this stuff felt like reading a rental agreement, not a marriage. I look up and ask her if this is seriously, what she wants our house turning into an office, our relationship becoming some corporate contract. Ask where love fits in this system, where kindness goes, where the simple act of doing something nice for your partner belongs on that spreadsheet. She calmly says, true equality requires clear boundaries, says blurry expectations create unfair dynamics, says this system removes patriarchal influence completely. Argument goes nowhere. She's locked in, nothing. I say gets through next day. I meet my buddy Marcus for a drink. Guy's older than me, already survived a brutal divorce, years ago. Knows the battlefield. I lay everything out. The gradual shift, the constant accusations, the stupid pickle jar incident, the blanket lecture, the pipe disaster, and finally the 3-page contract. I expect him to tell me to pack a bag and leave. He just listens quietly. The whole time when I finish, he takes a slow sip of his beer, looks right at me, says 2 words, sign it. I blink at him, ask why the hell I would agree to something that insane. He leans forward across the table, says, because you're not going to argue with her. You're going to outplay her. Says she just handed you a rule book and she thinks she's the only one who'll enforce it. Your job is to follow that rule book harder than she ever expects, more precisely, more strictly, more brutally consistent. Stop being a husband. Stop fixing things. Stop rescuing her. Stop being the emotional safety net. Be a roommate, the most polite, organized, respectful roommate, imaginable, clean your part, pay your half, follow every line of the contract perfectly, but never go beyond it, not even once. Then sit back and watch how long she enjoys the system. She built something, clicks in my brain. Right there, he's right. Arguing hasn't worked for months. I've been trying to save a marriage. She already replaced with a policy manual. Only option left is giving her exactly what she asked for. I go home that night, feeling weirdly calm. Emily, sitting in the living room, looks tense, probably expecting another argument. I walk over to the coffee table, pick up the printed agreement, grab a pen, tell her, all right, you win. We'll do it your way. She looks stunned for a second. Then relief spreads across her face like she just won a major victory. I tell her, I have one condition: we follow every rule, exactly both of us. No bending, no exceptions, no complaints later. This is the system. Now either we live by it or we don't. She nods immediately, almost excited. I sign the document, she signs underneath my name. We literally shake hands across the table, like closing a business deal. She's smiling like she just solved the relationship. Probably thinks she just secured a big win for equality. She has absolutely no idea what she actually set in motion. For the first time in months, I feel calm. No more guessing the rules. The game is clear now, and tomorrow morning, the new system officially begins. Wake up at my normal time. The next morning, alarm off, house quiet. Usually I'd brew a full pot of coffee for both of us today. I press just enough grounds in the French press for a single cup, pour it into my mug, rinse the press, immediately sit at the table, scrolling the news on my phone. Emily walks into the kitchen a few minutes later, looking half asleep, goes straight to the counter where the coffee maker usually sits, sees everything clean and empty, looks at my mug, then at me. You didn't make coffee? I glance up from my phone. Sorry, that's not on the shared task list. Coffee itself can be a joint grocery item if we agree on it, but preparing it isn't assigned on today's chore schedule. I take a slow sip. She just stares at me like she's trying to process a glitch in reality, eventually mutters something under her breath, ends up scooping instant coffee into a mug and microwaving. Water complains quietly. The whole time that weekend, it's my turn to do the shared grocery run. I open our spreadsheet and write the list: milk, eggs, bread, butter, just the essentials. We both agreed counted as shared food. Drive to the store, buy exactly those items, nothing else, come home, put them away neatly, take a picture of the receipt and upload it to our shared expense tracker, request reimbursement for her, half later that afternoon. She opens the fridge, realizes she's out of her favorite yogurt, also missing the expensive brand of oat milk she likes, asks if I can swing by the store later and grab them. I give a polite little smile. Sure, just send me the list and transfer the money. First, don't want personal purchases getting mixed into shared expenses. She just stares at me for a moment, like she forgot how words work, then says, forget. It grabs her keys and goes to the store. Herself. Next few weeks are full of moments like that. I become the ideal roommate. My assigned chores always done, exactly on schedule, trash, out every Tuesday night without fail. Bathroom spotless during my cleaning week. When it's my turn to cook dinner, the meals are simple and cheap. Grilled chicken, rice, vegetables, nothing fancy, but perfectly within the agreed budget. I'm polite the entire time. Good morning, have a nice day at work, internet bill is due tomorrow. But that's where it stops. All the little extra things disappear. No shoulder rubs while we watch TV, not listed in the agreement. No surprise flowers on the way home, that would be a personal expense. No, long conversations about her day. Emotional support now requires scheduling and mutual consent, and she never schedules anything. House starts feeling less like a marriage, more like two tenants sharing a lease. She struggles with the adjustment more than I do. Sometimes she forgets the system she created one night. She cooks dinner, on her assigned evening, automatically plates food for both of us, then looks confused when I politely decline. Tell her it's not my scheduled meal night and I already ate earlier. Another time she complains about a weird sound coming from her car. Engine says it loudly while standing near me, like she expects something. I nod sympathetically. Say, wow, that sounds frustrating. Hopefully the mechanic figures it out early on. She seems weirdly proud of the whole setup. Overhear her talking to her friend on the phone one night, bragging about how the system is working, how we're finally operating as true equals. But slowly the cracks start appearing. Money becomes the first problem. I've always made a little more than she does, not massive, but enough that I used to cover most fun spending dinners, out weekend trips, concert tickets. Now everything is strict, 50-50. Suddenly she's feeling the difference. Her friends invite her to an expensive brunch downtown before she'd just say yes and go. Now she checks her account balance after paying rent, and utilities, realizes she can't afford it. Starts complaining about always being broke. I just nod. Yeah. Budgeting can be a rough one evening. She comes home holding a mechanic's invoice. Apparently the car repair turned into something expensive. She sits down next to me on the couch, asks if I can help cover it. This one time I quietly pull up the agreement on my phone, scroll to the section about personal property expenses. Point to the clause that says each partner is solely responsible for their own assets and costs. Tell her I'm sorry, but rules are rules. We both sign them. I do offer a helpful suggestion, though tell her she could look into a new credit card or maybe a short-term personal loan. The look she gives me is pure disbelief, like she's finally realizing something important. The support system she spent months criticizing was also the safety net catching her when things went wrong. And now that safety net is gone because she cut it herself. But the real consequences of her new system haven't even shown up. Yet, those are coming soon, and they're gonna hit a lot harder. The house gets quieter over the next month, not peaceful, quiet. The kind of quiet where two people are actively avoiding each other, like the air itself feels tense. We stop eating dinner at the same time, too awkward. Sitting across the table in silence, I notice her grab a plate of whatever she cooked for herself that night. Walk it straight to the bedroom, I start doing the same thing. We pass each other in the hallway, like strangers in a hotel. Small nod, maybe a quick sorry if someone blocks the path. The living room turns into neutral territory, Cold War zone. She sits on one end of the couch, scrolling on her phone. I sit on the other, reading a book or watching something, quietly. The empty space between us feels huge. All the closeness is gone. We still sleep in the same bed, but it feels like two separate planets, just two people occupying mattress space. I never start anything physical. Rulebook says intimacy requires mutual verbal agreement, scheduled and reciprocal. She never brings it up. Maybe pride, maybe realizing. Attraction doesn't work, like calendar appointments. Her social life starts taking hits too. One weekend she decides to host a little gathering for a few friends, tells me about it a few days in advance, following the agreement about reserving shared spaces. I just nod. Thanks for the notice, I'll stay out of the way. Night of the get-together arrives, her friends show up, same group. She always hangs out with loud, full of buzzwords and political slogans. Probably own bumper stickers about dismantling systems. I'm in the kitchen filling a glass of water when they walk in. Emily introduces me. This is Ryan, not my husband, just Ryan. I give a polite smile. Nice meeting, you all hope you have a good night. Then I grab my water and walk straight to my home office, close the door behind me. Through the wall, I can hear them chatting in the living room about 20 minutes later. Knock on my door, Emily standing there asks if I'm coming out to socialize, says her friends think it's weird that I'm hiding. I look at her calmly, ask if socializing with personal guests is required under the agreement. She turns a little red, says no. But it's rude, I shrug, agreement covers. Use of shared spaces, not guest etiquette. I'm currently inside my personal workspace. You reserve the living room for your private event. I'm not interfering, put my headphones on, and go back to my computer. She leaves and shuts the door a little harder than necessary. No idea what story she told her friends afterward. Probably something about me being difficult, but the illusion cracks a bit that night. Her perfect equal partnership suddenly looks strange. From the outside, her friends see a guy treating her like a stranger. They just don't know. She wrote the rules. The real turning point happens. A couple weeks later, she gets sick. Not a light cold, full body flu. Fever, chills. Coughing the works. First day she stays in bed. I assume she's just tired second day. I get a text while I'm at work. Can you grab soup and medicine on your way home? Feeling awful. I reply calmly. Sure. Just send the money over and I'll pick it up. Or I can send a link for a delivery service that'll bring it directly. Long pause, then a reply. Never mind, when I get home, the house is silent. Her bedroom door closed, I can hear coughing through the wall. I follow the normal routine, cook my dinner, according to the schedule, eat, wash my dishes, put everything away. Don't check on her. Every instinct in my body tells me to knock on that door, make tea, bring soup, ask if she needs anything. But clause 3 is very clear. Each partner manages their own well-being. This is her situation to handle. I'm just the roommate, and roommates don't play nurse next day. She sounds even worse. I hear her on the phone with that same friend, the one who always encouraged this system. Emily's voice weak and scratchy, complaining about how sick she feels and how I haven't helped at all. I only hear her side. No, he literally hasn't even asked if I'm okay. Yeah, he told me to use a delivery app. He's being so cold about it. Pause, then she says, wait, what do you mean? Stand in my power. I have a 102 fever. No, I don't feel empowered. I feel like I'm dying. Another pause. Okay. Thanks, I guess. Bye. She hangs up. Few seconds later, I hear her start crying, deep, ugly sobs through the wall. The sound of someone who suddenly feels very alone. Her ideology doesn't help much when things get real. The friend who cheered her on while she rewrote our marriage only has slogans when she's actually suffering. She traded a husband who used to take care of her for a set of rules and a support system that disappears when tested. She stays sick the rest of the week, slowly dragging herself out of bed for crackers and water. Orders medicine through a delivery app, handling everything herself. Exactly the way the agreement says she should. She eventually recovers from the flu. But something between us is permanently cracked after that week. The smug confidence she used to have is gone. The constant lectures about patriarchy disappear. No more speeches about toxic masculinity. She just moves through the house quietly, now tired eyes following the rules of the system. She built like she's living inside a cage she designed herself. Life keeps going under the new cold structure. Everything's still running by the agreement. Another moment happens, a while later. Small situation but revealing. She orders a new piece of furniture online. A tall bookshelf or something arrives in one of those huge flat-packed boxes. Delivery driver drops it on the porch and leaves. The thing is massive, must weigh close to 100 pounds. I get home from the gym that evening, see her standing in the doorway, wrestling with the box, trying to pivot it through the door frame, grunting with effort. It's clearly too heavy for her. She notices me walking up the path. For a second, there's a flash of hope in her eyes. The old version of us would have been simple. She would have said, "Hey Ryan, can you help me with this?" And old me would have laughed and lifted it like it was nothing, but that version of us doesn't exist anymore. I stop at the bottom of the porch. Steps looks heavy, I say calmly. She exhales hard and nods. Yeah, it is. We stand there for a moment in silence. There's an invisible negotiation happening. She's waiting for me to offer help. I'm waiting for her to ask. Outside the contract. Finally, I break the silence according to the agreement. This is your personal purchase, so technically I'm not responsible for moving it. However, I can offer my labor as a paid service. She blinks at me, confused. What do you mean? I explain calmly. I'll carry it inside for $50 an hour. 1 hour minimum. I say it the same way. A help desk agent quotes a service fee. No anger, no sarcasm, just neutral professionalism. Her face falls apart a little. It's not really about the money. It's the principle behind it. Help that used to come, freely given out of love, now reduced to a billable transaction. I'm just showing her what the system costs. She shakes her head, slowly says, "No, I'll manage." I nod. "Okay, let me know." If you change your mind, then I walk inside and leave her there alone, with her giant box of independence. That thing sits on the porch for 2 days, until she finally hires a guy from a task app to move it. He carries it inside in about 5 minutes, probably charged her more than $50. Every week becomes another lesson for her. All those little conveniences she once criticized, they're gone now. replaced by extra effort, extra costs, extra loneliness, the easy, comfortable life we used to have. Turns out it was built on constant small acts of support, things she dismantled piece by piece, one rule at a time. I don't even feel happy about it. Mostly just numb, watching my wife struggle because of the rules she demanded, and I'm enforcing them perfectly. It's a hollow kind of victory. Then the real test finally arrives. A few months later, winter has settled in, one of those miserable dark evenings, cold wind streets empty. I'm finishing a workout at the gym, phone buzzes in my locker, it's Emily calling. I almost ignore it, but something tells me to answer. Her voice is high and panicked. "Ryan, you need to come home right now." "What's going on?" "The bathroom pipe burst. There's water everywhere." I think something exploded in the wall. I can hear water spraying loudly through the phone. Old me would have grabbed my bag and sprinted out the door, probably broken every traffic law getting home. New. Me takes a slow breath. "Okay, first thing you need to do is shut off the main water valve. It's in the basement utility closet. Red handle on the pipe, turn it clockwise until it stops." She starts panicking. Moore says she doesn't know what she's looking for. I repeat calmly. "Red handle. You can't miss it. Once you shut that valve, the water will stop. After that, call an emergency plumber. Please just come home and fix it." She begs the same question she used to ask without thinking. But now things are different. I remind her gently. "I'm not a licensed plumber, and the agreement says repairs to shared property must be handled by a professional." There's crying on the other end of the line. "I can't deal with this by myself," I correct her calmly. "This isn't just your problem, it's shared property. So call a plumber and we'll split the repair. 50-50. Like the contract says. I'm heading home now. Call them immediately so the damage doesn't get worse. I hang up, I don't rush. Finish my cool down, stretches wipe down the machine. I used and take a full shower at the gym, then drive home, obeying every speed limit. When I finally walk through the front door, the house is chaos. She did manage to shut the water off, but half the upstairs hallway is soaked. Water dripping through the ceiling into the living room. An exhausted plumber is upstairs, clanking tools around in the bathroom. Emily stands in the middle of the mess, looking small and completely overwhelmed. Her face's pale eyes red and swollen from crying. She looks at me like she's hoping I'll step in and take control of the situation. Like the old version of me will suddenly reappear. I walk past her and go straight to the plumber, ask him what happened. He explains the supply line behind the toilet, corroded and blew out. Says he can replace the line, no problem, but the water damage upstairs is pretty bad. Tells me we'll probably need a restoration crew to deal with the soaked flooring and ceiling. I nod and pull out my phone. Start taking photos of the hallway, the ceiling, the bathroom, everything for insurance, calm, methodical, emotionally distant. About an hour later, the plumber finishes the repair. Water line replaced, leak. Stopped, he hands Emily the invoice. She just stares at it like the numbers don't make sense. The total is brutal, 4 digits. Emergency plumbing on a winter evening isn't cheap. She looks like she might throw up, slowly turns toward me, holding the paper like it might explode. I take out my phone, open the calculator, type in the total divide, it exactly in half. Turn the screen so she can see the number. That's my portion. Send me your Venmo. Then I open my banking app. Right there, transfer the amount to her. Immediately her phone buzzes a second later with the notification, my half of the shared repair expense has been paid. I say calmly, you'll need to cover the rest from your account, and that's when everything collapses. The invoice slips out of her hand, falls onto the wet floor. She drops down onto the damp carpet, starts sobbing uncontrollably. Not quiet, crying, not the sad sniffles from earlier weeks. This is a full breakdown, the kind where someone's whole body shakes, like something inside finally snapped. I can't do this, she gasps through the crying. I can't live like this anymore. She looks up at me, face soaked with tears. I don't want 50-50. I don't want a roommate. I want my husband back. I want you back. I want you to take care of things again. I want you to take care of me. And there it is. The truth she spent months denying, the simple human need to be cared for by the person who loves you. I stand there quietly looking down at her. All the anger I carried for months is gone, the numbness too. All that's left is this heavy sadness. I kneel down so we're eye level, not to comfort her, just to speak clearly. I was your husband, I say quietly. I did take care of you. I opened jars when you couldn't. I grabbed blankets when you were cold. I fixed things when they broke. I checked the strange noises in the house at night. I planned our vacations. I paid for our dinners. I would have come home and taken care of you when you were sick. I would have carried that furniture box inside without thinking twice. I gestured toward the water-damaged hallway. I would have handled this too, all of it, and I never would have charged you $1. Every one of those things, every small act of care, you gave it a label. You called it toxic. You called it patriarchy. You called it control. You said you didn't want a protector or a provider. You wanted an equal partner. You wrote the rules for how I should treat you. I looked straight into her eyes and I followed those rules exactly. I became the man your system described distant, independent, transactional. I gesture around the damaged house, the soaked walls, the plumber's bill on the floor, the woman crying in front of me. This is it. This is the equality you wanted. This is the world you built. I let the silence sit there for a moment, then asked quietly, "So, tell me something. Are you happy with it?" She doesn't answer. She just keeps crying.